Hey everybody, this is Jacob Overton. I'm here with my brother-in-law, Jake Thomas. Jake, what's going on?
Hey Jacob, just excited to go through this video with you.
Yeah, so Saturday, June 27th, we went down to Choctaw to play in the Blaze Dayz tournament, and this is our first tournament ever.
Man, the nerves were just unreal on this first tee.
They really were. I had butterflies in my stomach till we made our first putt.
So I saw Jacob go for that forehand, and it was a really tight alleyway, and so I decided to go with the tomahawk over the trees instead. And I really let it fly. I got really close to this group on the left.
You did?
Uh, but luckily we were pin high, just a little further to the left.
Yep, so my disc didn't come out of the tree, and we're playing doubles here, so we're doing a scramble. If we were playing singles, I believe I would have to leave that disc for the rest of the round, and I think it's gone since it's considered OB.
We would have got that disc out still.
Luckily, I found this little dead tree limb here, and after a couple throws, we got it out. I sped up the video to kind of get things moving here, but that was my first shot ever in tournament play. Got it stuck in a tree.
It was a good start to our first tournament.
So we both threw Zeus's off the tee. I'm using my MVP Atom putter here, and I use it more as an approach disc than I do to actually putt, but it reminds me of a zone in the way that it feels in my hands, but I really like the way that it flies, and I get a little skip from the sidewalk, and we're parked.
Just a great upshot by Jacob. Took all the pressure off, so I was able to really try to send this. I gave it a good run height-wise, but just a little too far to the left. But luckily,
Yeah.
Jacob had his park. So
Well, and if you guys can see from the trees and just the foliage in the background, it is a windy day. Choctaw is in Oklahoma. It's basically Oklahoma City, and there's really not very many days out of the year where the wind isn't blowing at least 10 miles an hour. And we had a 15-mile-an-hour wind all day with gusts up to 25 miles an hour.
just the whole front nine was just headwind city. Anything else would just be a hard right to left wind. So a challenging day for our first tournament nonetheless.
Yeah, this is a headwind, maybe a little bit of right to left crosswind, but I try to keep it low to fight against the wind, and kept a little bit too low or didn't give it enough arm. That's probably what it was. I'm not the farthest thrower by any means, but you have a little bit better tee shot here than I do.
Yep, on this shot I threw my Thunderbird, just something a little more overstable. From my release, I thought I had a chance to ace it.
I thought you aced it too. It's a good angle from the camera too.
Yeah, Jensen really did me did me a favor with the camera angle. But as you can see, we're about 15 or 20 feet back into some pretty rough stuff.
And I'm going to give Jensen a shout out just really quick. She's my younger sister, Jake's wife, and this is her first time ever holding this camera in her hand, and she did a great job following our shots and everything. I was really impressed.
So you can see I have this itty bitty little window. I thought I could muscle through it, but man, not the man that can just muscle through a steel limb like that.
There was one little tree limb that just pushed you down too. So I tried to go for the forehand putt here, and I kind of liked the look. Well, not really, but I mean, I liked what I had. I think if I would have held on to that a little bit longer and kind of tried to aim towards the basket more, probably could have gave it a better run. But overall, I mean, not a bad second hole. Back-to-back pars to start out a tournament.
I really liked your idea with that, Jacob. I thought it looked really clean coming out. Like I said, I've just never really practiced that shot before, but I love the angle and everything that you had coming out of the trees with that one.
Maybe I'll connect later on in the video. We'll see. So here we're playing a little bit uphill. It's a 234 to the pin, and there is a Mando, that far left tree. It's Mando right, and I've hit some more trees and I'm sitting parked right in the middle of the fairway.
Right down the middle, though. I love just watching it fall straight down. But I try to do something similar, go a little further to the left with my Thunderbird yet again. I just threw that so straight. I hit the Mando tree and it rolled backwards, so we still have an opportunity to make the Mando throwing to the right. But both of us just kind of didn't get any love from the trees on this one.
Yeah, we were kind of in danger of missing the Mando there for a second, but good approach shot from you. You're probably 3 feet from the hole, so you give me the chance to run it, and unfortunately, I do not deliver.
Well, look at your footing down there, Jacob. You're standing on some rocks. It's uphill a little bit.
And my Luna really is not made for those. Well, for me anyway. Paul Macbeth is probably that's what he uses from that distance, but I need something a little bit lighter and a little less sticky too. Whenever I'm actually trying to make a run like that.
You've also got this wind, Jacob. It probably pushed the disc straight down. It wasn't on you.
It didn't help, that's for sure. All right, hole 4. I'm throwing my Innova Corvette. I kind of realized I didn't have enough stability in my bag once I figured out what kind of shots we were going to be throwing today. Because I can't throw an understable disc forehand to save my life. And I only had 2 stable discs in my bag. And so I ended up using those a lot today. But so the river here is, or not the river, the road here is out of bounds. And so is that parking lot. So I just narrowly make it in bounds with that tee shot.
Yeah, this hole becomes really difficult. The fairway is just so narrow. Like you said, you have the parking lot and the roads acting as rivers. And then all the trees just make it almost impossible to really try to throw anything out of it. And so I tried to aim at that tree and to get my Thunderbird to just really bite hard to the right. And man, coming up here in a second, you'll see we just barely made it in bounds.
Yeah, I was pretty worried about your tee shot because of that skip that it had, but it sat down. You gave us a great look from maybe just inside, just outside the circle. I didn't measure it, but pretty scary distance.
Scary distance for single chain baskets. So I don't know who donated these for this tournament, but really shout out to him just to be able to help make this tournament happen. But the single chains, you had to hit dead center or else it didn't go in. And then out here, a guy we played with named Tim, his dog Billy was with us. And Billy was just making sure I knew where the basket was at.
Yeah, Billy was a good boy. He provided a lot of comedic relief throughout the day. Yeah, you tried not to walk that one off, and I said, run that one out. Go get that disc. That was a great putt.
Jay, first tournament, I'm a little shy, but I needed that reassurance. So that was a big putt. That was fun to make.
Great birdie putt there. So this is the first one that really just gets away from me. That right to left crosswind was wild. Jensen gave me a lot of credit there, thinking my disc was still in the air. But,
I don't know where she was looking.
It's
whenever she tried to do this, but man, watching that disc just took off down the hill. The wind didn't do any justice either. It just pushed it straight down, but right before it got in the water, it pulled up. And then
out of your way here.
Oh, you're fine. As you can see here, man, just brothers-in-law just trying to follow you down the hill a little bit. I just kind of turned over my forehand shot with my destroyer.
Yeah.
I got a decent distance out of it, but just not really where you want to be.
Well, and that was our first tee box of the day that we let off first. So that's one of those ones where you don't want to be the leader. You like to see somebody else throw a couple times before you have to throw one.
Yeah, so here I tried to throw my Thunderbird again, just an overstable disc. I didn't put it far enough out to the right. I got caught up in the wind a little bit. You can kind of see it on the left side of the screen, just bank off to the left-hand side. So I looked at Jacob and I said, oh no.
Oh no, yeah. Maybe a little nose high there, but we were throwing uphill, so you kind of have to. I'm throwing my Latitude 64 musket here. That's a little bit more disc than you probably need for this shot, but into the wind, I wanted something I knew I could get up there. And unfortunately, that road right there is River OB, and so I land in the road. There's a little bit of confusion here because John and Andrew were giving us mixed signals, but we finally got the X. And
apparently John didn't. He thought the safe sign was out of bounds. So.
That's okay.
I got so excited because your shot was so much better than mine.
Well, it was. You can see it there, the red disc there on the road. That was my shot. So it would have been a better look for par. But I mean, we're still not in a bad spot here. Just a little bit too far out into the wind.
Man, I really thought I was giving this disc a run. You could see I'm just not very happy with the shot. It just didn't go anywhere for me.
There's really no in between it. Yeah, you kind of just put that in the basket. I could tell you're a little upset at that. But we're back to even par now. Not a bad score by any means, but would definitely like to be one under still.
Yeah, I definitely would have liked to make a putt from right there, especially after the not so good shots off the tee, but you know what? It's okay.
Yeah. So
Look at the wind, Jacob. Just
yeah.
Look at the wind on these trees.
So I decided to go with the Crank SS, and Jensen didn't really do a great job of following that. But you can see us all running off to the left to try to see where that went. That's the first and only time I throw that disc.
Man, Tim had eyes for discs, just the way they were going. He was so good at tracking them down for us.
He's got eagle vision. He was able to tell. He's like, yeah, that's about 40 feet past that tree right there, and it would be. He knew exactly where it was.
It looks like I'm just gunning for this car right here, but I decided to throw his, after I saw Jacob's shot, I threw more of a stable disc in my bag with the Zeus. I just tried to throw it hard, nose down, and thankfully I just got some good road river love on my bounce.
So right before this throw, I tell Jake, hey man, I got you. I'm gonna park this so that you can give it a run. And then this happens.
As soon as you let go, I was like, Jacob, that's not. But then after that with this wind, I probably should have got my zone out instead and just tried to get an approach shot. But I tried to go for it, threw it a little too high, a little too nose up, and the wind just took it for a ride.
Just a hair too nose up, because you can see right before it gets to the chains, it just lifts. And if it wouldn't have done that, I think you might have had it.
Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate that. Right here just kind of hurt both of our hearts. I hit chains. Your line ended up really well right here. And then just the front of the basket.
Yeah, through my Challenger Jawbreaker OS, or Jawbreaker Challenger OS, I guess is how you'd say it. And front of the basket. It's not what you want. Throwing my Innova Star Wraith here. Wanted to hang it out right of the tree and get it to curve back. You can see that basket where those folks are walking. And that is a Mando tree, so we're going to make the Mando here, but really not the distance that I wanted.
I love the line you went with on here, Jacob. For some reason, I guess that disc just didn't want to flex out off to the right-hand side like it normally does. But because of that, I tried to throw a little further to the right, and see ya. I threw it way too far to the right.
That went way deeper into the trees than I thought it did. You can see me looking right for it right there.
This is a good brother-in-law, ladies and gentlemen, because this was not just nice stuff. There were thorns, there was poison ivy.
Yeah,
you can see my man Tim out here. He's directing me on that side where the disc is at, and thankfully I was able to go get it.
I sold you about 75 feet short from where it actually landed, though. You do have a bigger arm than I do, so
well, just barely, but thank you.
So this one just kind of gets away from me a little bit. You can't really tell, but I just put it past the basket there, probably 30 feet-ish. It was the line I wanted, just got a little bit too high, wind caught it a little bit. You're going to hear that a lot from us. We're going to blame everything on the wind because it wasn't really well.
I really thought it looked good coming out, but I threw my zone again right here. Just tried to get something low off the road so I could get a skip. After my my shot on the last hole where the wind just carried it, I really tried to make sure that wouldn't happen here.
And I got some chain love right there. You don't put the disc that high in the basket and it ends up staying very often. So
nothing was safe in this tourney, guys. No matter what you threw at the basket, you could not say nice early. You couldn't just walk away. You had to make sure it stuck at the bottom.
This was a pretty unique hole. You threw it over the road, and the darker green circle one right there is an island. And the road is OB, behind the basket, the tall stuff is OB, and there is a spray painted line just about 30 feet short of the hole where you have to make it inside that circle or it's considered out of bounds and you have to go to the drop zone to the right.
I love this graphic because it looks like circle 2. You just have this big open area for the island, but that is just not the case.
Yeah, the island was circle 1, and so you really have to park it, and you've got a right to left crosswind. As you can see, my disc just get carried away. I went for a fan grip right there. I don't really know what I was thinking, and it got away from me. Didn't do you any favors.
Did you throw your Atom again? Is that right?
Yeah, I used that as my approach disc, and I thought I shouldn't have done fan grip, and I'm kicking myself. So ours was actually just inside, just safe, I should say. You can see that orange spray paint line right there. Our disc landed halfway on, halfway off, so it was safe. And then, unfortunately, after that, our discs were not safe, as both of them just get no love from these chains.
I still can't believe. I wish we had a Nomez on this one, because that's just ridiculous. You hit basically center chains and just kind of weaseled its way out.
That would be a good no bez. Yeah, that happened. That happened to Tim and Chris on hole 1 too. The exact same thing. So
And the other group, I believe
they
John and
did it.
Andrew happened to them too. Yeah.
Yep. So this is a fun hole. It's Mando right of that tree right there, and you can just see the basket behind the second tree, probably about 30, 40 feet-ish. So it was a forehand throw for me, but it was a pretty straight hole, so you decided to go backhand here.
I elected you. You did kind of have that guardian tree in front. I thought I could put a slight ante on my buzz and give it a run, but I guess I just didn't trust it enough. I didn't throw hard enough, and so I didn't get any distance on it. Thankfully, you had a really good throw from the tee box.
I think the wind really pushed yours down there too.
Thanks, Jacob.
Going for the
I
first
appreciate that.
scuba in tournament play here with my Zeus. It's sticky plastic, tall grass, and it just sticks.
I love this move. You looked back at me and said scuba. I was like, oh yeah, go for it. So you gave me a chance to really try to run it. As you can see, I really tried to give it all on this one. It looks like the height was just about right, but I just threw it a little bit too far to the right and didn't really come back for me. But luckily, Jacob just had his park, so we were able to get a nice par on this hole.
Yeah, that was a good run. That's what we wanted there. I don't think we've mentioned this yet, but this is a temporary course. So if you try to go out there and play right now, you will not be able to. There will not be baskets there. And that's part of the reason the baskets are probably not quite what we were used to. We're kind of spoiled with some of the disc golf courses around where we live. And so we're used to having some really beefy chains. But we had, this is a front 9. We're doing good. We're still, I guess we're one over now after after last hole. Yeah.
You know, we're +1. It's our first tournament. Still have some nerves. The wind was a little ridiculous. We had some tight fairways. Overall, I was still pretty happy with our performance on the front 9.
Yep, I'm exuding confidence right now. I'm about to putt this one no look, looking straight into your eyes.
He looked me down in my soul on that one. If he would have missed that, I would have laughed so hard. But because these are just single chains, I don't have the confidence in myself to make that.
Well, that's going to be the front 9 for us, folks. Had a lot of fun. The back 9's coming up. And do you have any closing thoughts quickly, Jake?
Just really, the front 9 was a lot of fun. I think the back 9 has more opportunity for just a better shot selection from both of us. So I'm excited to see you guys on the back 9.
Yeah, I think we get a little bit more comfortable, like our whole group, and we kind of open up a little bit more just with our banter and with our shot selections too. So yeah, look forward to seeing you guys there. Don't forget, like and subscribe, share with your friends if they're into disc golf, and we'll see you guys on the back 9.